Steve, this is a landmark moment right now at 89. Our very first guest.
Yes.
And why would we want anybody else other than our guy, Maurice Jones-Drew, MJD? He's got his top 7, not top 5, top 7 backs he's going to break for us.
We brought on MJD because I don't give a damn about the running backs. Would you like to know why? Because they take my receptions away. So I'm bringing on a professional, a craftsman, an artistry, a guy who knows exactly how to take catches, receptions, and depending on what type of dude, takes away his happiness on the football field. So MJD, get deep down, pause, into the nitty-gritty of the top running backs.
Yep.
Because Steve Smith Sr. don't give a damn. I'm just gonna sit back and listen.
I love it. I think I'm gonna do this list one going down because there's gonna be some guys left out that we're gonna have to talk about at the end. Okay. That's gonna really give you that comment section, that vomit. They're gonna vomit with these comments.
Yeah.
Because I've already gotten a bunch of them already.
Oh yeah, I like it.
So obviously at one's very simple. Ashton Jeanty. Look, the kid can do everything, right? Contact balance, speed, vision, strength. He has short area quickness. He can make people miss. I've had multiple teams in the top 5 call me, in the top 6 call me about drafting him.
Can you please break down why these teams are calling thou?
Oh,
why
yeah,
are they calling you? Because I don't understand it. You don't play anymore.
Yeah. So I can tell you right now, 2 of the teams are teams I played for, right? So the Raiders and the Jags.
Whoa, don't be snitching. Come on, man.
I mean, it's not like I'm not going to say they're going to draft him or not, but they've called me about him. Jeanty actually grew up in Jacksonville too. He was like 7, then they moved away. So he has that there. The Raiders got a chance to reach out to them, spoke to them a little bit. They were super excited about, obviously they have a new regime. They're trying to build. They want to win now. Because their coach is getting older. And so they want to make sure they put the best product on the field. And we know that Pete Carroll loves to run the football. There's been other ones like the Chicago Bears I've spoken to about them.
Oh, you got a connection there, MJ.
Right. That's my guy there.
That's your guy.
Yeah. So ton of teams. But when I say I talk to them, it's about, are we looking at the same thing, right? Or am I seeing the same thing that you're seeing? Is there something that I'm not getting and vice versa? And that to me tells me that when you talk to everyone around the league, it's like this dude is creme de la creme. People are going to get crazy, but I believe that he's higher. I had him rated higher than I had Saquon Barkley come out of Penn State. And the reason being is this. Saquon was at Penn State. He had a lot of negative runs, and then he had that home run, right? Through his career, Saquon has figured out a way to kind of be more efficient. But even if you watch Philadelphia, he still has a little bit of that negative run, big play. If you watch Ashton Jeanty, and I've had a couple coaches tell me this, some of his best runs are 5 yards, where he's made guys miss, he's broken tackles, or he's caught in a pass with someone on him, and he's figured out a way to make it work. And that, to me, is why you put him number 1, and he's consistently number 1 around a lot of people's board.
Yeah. MJD, so can I go back and explain to me that negative run from Saquon Barkley versus you just said a 5-yard run? Because you got to also understand fantasy people, right? They only look at yards. You're talking about from a stay on schedule type of offense to benefit not your fantasy team, but the actual game that is being currently played. So go a little bit deeper for me.
More. So with Saquon, he's always looking to hit the home run, and that's a positive, right? Very similar to what Barry Sanders used to be in Detroit, where Barry he'll go backwards, spin around, do all these crazy moves trying to get a touchdown instead of just taking the easy 4, right? Staying on schedule, being efficient, and getting in a 2nd and 6. Sometimes Saquon will get you in a 2nd and 12, 2nd and 14, which makes it tough. But at the same time, okay, it's a give and take because he can also go 90, as we saw this past year. If he sees it, he hits it right, he can go 90. And so when you have that type of player, it puts a lot of stress on the coaching staff and on the offensive line. But, if you block it right, he has that ability to go to the house because he's always looking to create the big play. The thing with Jeanty is Jeanty's very comfortable getting the tough 4, the tough 5, the tough 6, the tough 3. And then he has that ability like Saquon to take it the distance. And in football, you want to be efficient. You want to stay ahead of the chains. You want to be in 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7. You don't want to be in 2nd and 14. And so I got a chance to speak with his OC at the time, Jeanty, that is, Dirk Cutter, who was my old OC. And the other part about recruiting.
Dang, Dirk Cutter went back?
Yeah, he's back in Boise. He lives in Boise. He retired. He's back coaching. But they were running a lot of plays that are similar to the league. Duo, outside zone, inside zone, power, counter, right? Things that you can actually see. It's not as much gun run with him. And so it made it a lot easier for coaches to really see a skill set that they can, coaches are visual people. They got to see you run what they run, and then they'll be able to make it happen. There's a couple runs in that Penn State game. I talked to a lot of coaches. They felt like he was pressing a little bit in that Penn State game, but there was a run where he got it and he ran through like Abdul Carter and a couple other cats, and it was like a 5-yard run, but he broke like 4 tackles getting it. And that's what the coaches want to see. When it's not the best and it's all muddy, can you get us positive yards? And that's what Jeanty was able to do.
Before we move on, MJD, I've got 2 questions about Jeanty. One kind of a bigger picture one, and then one specifically about him. One, catching the football. You're going to take a back this high. You want him to do a variety of things for you, right? And obviously we know how important that's become. Where does he rank in that, and how's that skill set? And second, does the depth of this class and the number of backs in this class, and you probably love evaluating all these guys because there's a million of them, does that actually hurt him with teams, say, like Vegas at 6 going, well, this position group's much more thin. I can get a back in the 2nd round. And then there might be some teams towards the top of the draft that pass on him. Does the depth of the class hurt him in some capacity too? What about those 2 things?
Yeah, so catching the ball, he, as you saw at his pro day, I mean, they threw him the ball a little bit here and there, more check down base. He wasn't really running option routes and things like that. But when you saw his pro day, he caught the ball, he was smooth, right? It wasn't a lot of double catches. He was able to turn and move and catch the ball. And then to be honest, James, with the era of 7-on-7 in high school, every running back has played receiver somewhere, shape, or form. And
I think he did, didn't he? At high school or something, I think he played some receiver.
So he's played a lot of 7-on-7 and has gotten the ability, and he understands how to move his body to catch the football. The thing with the running back is funny because as much as everyone says, well, I can get a guy later in the rounds or I can get this guy, I've talked to a lot of teams that are like, we want the top guy. Give us the best guy, right? And
Why not?
And that's what I said. I was like, well, I get it. Like, some people may pass on him, but then if he falls to Chicago at 10, or if he falls to, let's say if he falls to the Rams at 26, like those things, I don't see those things happening because you have the Jags that they've talked about the running game. The Raiders talked about being physical, running the football.
And we know Pete.
Miami's another one, right? So you have so many of these teams that are looking for guys. If you get the top guy there, it makes sense. Also, in my mock draft, I have 3 running backs going in the 1st round, but there may be 4. And so that's going to be the kicker, too, as we get going.
Hold on, MJD. As you were talking, it was making me think about something. We talk about catching a football out of the backfield because we've seen how how the offenses have changed. Is pass first, which has impacted the defense, which is why teams are running 3-4 defense now, because that slows down the pass, and 4-3 was constructed to stop the run. So is Jeanty a type of player that you try to make him fit your system, or is he the type of player where it's a 2-headed monster, or you do like the Las Vegas Raiders where Pete ain't about trying to be cute, right? He's about smash mouth, and that's what ultimately Rashad Penny, who's out the league, that's what got him out of there, right? Chris Carson, unfortunately, because of injuries. So they've had a number of guys of running backs, but Pete Carroll is looking for beast mode 0.70, right? Yeah. I ain't gonna say 2 point because beast mode is he's an original guy, but he's looking for someone that can carry the workload every down, and they're going to typically try to pass the ball when they have to, not because it's the only way. So I'm trying to figure out, I know I went the long way, but I'm just trying to figure out, is he the type of player that you structure your offense around him like a Adrian Peterson, a beast mode, or is it we stick him in there? Because I don't see Miami, I don't see Sean McVay. They're not going to pound and grind the football like that. It's just that's like giving a dope head $1,000 in cash and dropping them off in front of the dope house. Boy, they gonna spend that money. They are not gonna talk about, yeah, I'm a tithe, I'm gonna put a little bit in savings, and then I'm gonna treat myself.
No. So this is the thing. This is what I'll tell you. When I do my rankings, I always do it's not ranked off of how good you are. It's, can you fit every system? Are you a day one starter? Are you a system player? System player meaning you have to go somewhere where I think they have to run a certain type of system to have success. Jeanty can be in any situation.
Oh,
He
wow.
can impact the game right away. He, to me, again, like I said, I have him ranked higher than I had Saquon back when Saquon came out. And the reason being is he can catch the ball out of the backfield if you want him to. Let's just say let's say he goes to Denver, right? He can fit the same system in Denver as he can in Jacksonville, as he can in Vegas, as he can in LA. Wherever you put him, he can go, right? If the Chargers draft him, and we see how they want to run downhill, right?
Yep.
You can put him there as well. So to me, he fits everything. He fits everything, one, because you can see he does it. He's done everything, gun run to power to catch the ball in the backfield. He can do all those things. So drafting him is, if you feel like you're a running back away from winning your division, if you feel like you're a running back away from getting to the playoffs, you plug him in right away, you're on your way to the playoffs. And I know he feels the same way.
Man, let's go to two.
Number 2, James. So look, first and foremost, 2-4 Ohio State guys, right? I'm just gonna get that out the way.
James, did you go to Ohio State?
The degrees are right up there.
Look at him, he's so giddy.
Look, there's a reason Ohio State won the national title, and there's a reason Michigan didn't make the playoffs. Just to be quite frank with you guys, all right? Ohio State's two running backs.
Because of Ibuka and Smith, those wide receivers were dynamic.
Yeah, for sure. Look, Ohio State, I've never seen two backs dominate the way they did. And to me, when I've talked to, again, like I told you I've talked to a lot of teams, Treveyon Henderson was the number 1 rated pass protector in
Outstanding.
the game. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, I've had coaches saying, I'd rather take him over Jeanty just because I know I could play him on third downs and he can pick the blitz up. That alone had me put him at number 2. Now, you talk about his skill set. He's explosive, home run hitter. Love the way he runs screens. He's physical, but at the end of the day, if you could protect the quarterback, that's the most important thing, right? Protecting the quarterback, to me, again, ever since I've been 17, 18 years old, Eric Bieniemy was a guy that was like, look, if you want to play, you got to protect the money, right? You can run and do all these things. If you can't pick up blitzes and you can't do all these, so that alone, to me, he has the skill set to do other things, but that just put him right at number 1. I was talking to Daniel Jeremiah on one of the podcasts at the network. We talked about how every time he hits someone in pass pro, he literally takes football out of them. It's unbelievable.
That's a grown-ass man right there.
It is. And so, to me, it's more of what he does without the football. You'll see him run downfield and get blocks and those type of things. It's more for what he does without the football, to me, is what makes him like that high of a guy. Makes him special, right?
I watch obviously all these games. I remember there's a block he had at the lead blocker on Will Howard running against Penn State on the outside, and he just annihilates somebody as the lead blocker. What I want you to tell everybody at home though is, it's I think in some fans' minds it might seem this is a trait that is like, why can't everybody do it, right? Like, why can't, it's vision, it's all these things. What makes a guy be a really, really good player in pass protection?
Well, there are a lot of things. I credit it to being 3 things. 1, your football IQ, right? Being able to understand the defense, understand the protection, see where guys are blitzing, know the guy that you have to have, and then going and meeting that guy in the hole, right? So knowing where you have to go, 1, is important. 2, understanding, again, this is another IQ. Guys will stunt across his face. You'll see D lineman cut across his face. He'll go around the guard. He'll go around the tackle. He knows where to fit in the pass pro. And so, again, 1, knowing who it is. 2, knowing where to fit in the pass pro. And 3, it's just a want to, right?
Yeah.
Being unselfish. I believe it's selfish to have guys that don't want to pass pro, right? Like, it's the want to at the end of the day, right? Wanting to go in there and put your shoulder pads into a linebacker that's blitzing, wanting to go in there and make a statement. That want to is more than anything. Again, I've talked to multiple running back coaches, multiple GMs about the running backs, and a lot of guys you'll have down on my list is because they don't want to pass pro. They don't want to do those things, right? And that want to becomes a big issue. So to me, the fact that he wants to do it, that he knows how to do it, he knows where to fit, is more important than anything else.
Okay, I'll chime in with one little thing on him before we move on. I find it like he's a riser in a lot of people's minds around the league. Like maybe at the beginning of this process, not a first-round pick, could potentially go in the first round for sure now. I think the character and everything that he brings, he's kind of really a clean prospect on top of that. The other part that I wanted to ask you, MJD, is like, this was kind of buzzing around the league as you make some calls. It's like, when you get towards the back end of the first round and you're looking at the receivers, sorry, Steve, and you're going, maybe this guy gives my offense a little bit more than some of the receivers I'm looking at right now. And I'm curious if that conversation is going to happen when we get to, if he's available in the 20s or something, and there's a playoff team that is like, this might be more valuable than adding a guy to my receiver room because of the different things he can do and protect my quarterback.
Well, yeah, again, we talked about it before. A lot of these guys have had some receiver background because of 7-on-7. But he's a threat out of the backfield as well. Go back to that screen that he ran against Texas right before half that kind of blew that game open, right? Mm-hmm. The ability, when coaches see that, coaches are like, okay, I can give this guy, I can throw him a 2-yard route, and he can go 80 with it. That's a great investment, right? Mm-hmm. That to me is, we don't need to ask our quarterback to drop back 5 yards, read the defense. We can throw a simple screen. That play alone, I feel like really put him in the first round. I think, again, this is just me.
That's why we got you.
He's a top 10 caliber player, right? Because of the ability to, that's just me though, because that's how much pass pro is. When you're paying quarterbacks $60, $65 million a year, you're going to play the left tackle a bunch of money, right? Why not play a running back that can protect him both in the passing game as a receiver and as a blocker in the passing game, and the ability to turn around and hand the ball off to a team like, and again, this is not a top 10 team, but in my mock draft, I had him going to Chicago. A team like Cincinnati would want to draft him because of how much Joe Burrow's been hit. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they're a Joe Mixon or running back away from getting there, right? And so there's certain teams that, I think they should have him high. But to me, I wouldn't say 1A, 1B, but it's closer. Henderson's much closer to Jeanty than a lot of people give him credit for.
Whew. I love it. That's why you're here, Ben. That's why you're here.
Yeah.
All right, let's go 3.
Listen, number 3. I've had a ton of people in the Bay Area because this guy is from Northern California. Yeah. Tell me about this kid, and I didn't want to watch him because I didn't want to be enamored by this guy. But it is Skattebo.
Number 3.
Cam Skattebo is number 3.
Wow.
Oh, that's up there. I like it. Let's see why. Why?
This is a term that people don't use as much, but he's just a football guy. He's a guy that's going to go out there and do everything you ask of him, right? The only thing that he doesn't have that those other two have is he doesn't have the speed. He didn't run the 40, right? So we don't know his speed.
Oh, we know his speed.
We know his speed. It ain't fast.
What's his speed, Steve?
It ain't faster than the other guys. That's
right. It ain't fast, right?
It ain't fast.
When you watch,
but there's nothing wrong with that.
No, when you watch his tape though, he does everything. Literally,
true facts.
Catch the ball out of the backfield, run routes. We saw him throw passes. He picks up blitzes, breaks tackles, short area quickness, contact balance, vision. And then the best thing that he does, he finishes every run. Now, some people I've talked to like, well, he's only going to play 5 years in the league. I was like, dude, I did that. I finished all my runs. I ran into people. As long as you take care of your body, this dude's going to last a lot longer than I think people think. I believe this, and I'm going to say this now. I call the games for the Rams. Mm-hmm. If Skattebo was on the Rams last year, the Rams win the Super Bowl. They go into Philly and they beat Philly with Skattebo. That's what kind of football player this guy is, right? Whew. He can run. He can give you special teams early on. He could come in and be your second and third down back later on to spell a guy. But he picks up blitzes. And literally, this is the other thing. When we talk about Jeanty, how he was almost everything at Boise State, right?
Oh, he was everything. This dude was everything.
Cam Skattebo was the same thing at Arizona State and almost beat Texas with just him.
By himself.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
To me, when you watch his tape, it's like, yeah, he has some deficiencies, speed or whatever. But the kid is a competitor and he's a football player. And too many times we forget about drafting football players. Like, oh, we want to go
true.
with the guys with all the
we want the
measurements
razzle dazzles.
Yeah, we want all the sparkles. Give me a guy that just loves football and wants to play football.
I've always heard that to me that's like when I make call, like that's the best compliment scouts give a guy is like he's a football player. Like those are the guys that these guys fall in love with, and then it gets screwed up by the people that are above them. But
Hey, so MJD, I've kind of heard he has that potential to either be Peyton Hillis or Mike Allstott. Where do you see?
He has more game than both of those guys. I think a lot of people, and I'm going to say, James, excuse me when I say this, it's because of his skin color that they're going to say he has to be those two guys.
Yeah.
I think he has more game than that. I mean, he played receiver against Texas.
Hey, hold on. James, what the hell you looking around for?
Yeah, I'm just being honest.
Didn't expect it. I didn't expect it.
I'm just being honest, James.
Okay, I got it.
We see a white running back, we're like, he has to be Mike Allstott because he runs guys over. Like, no, he doesn't. And Mike Allstott was great in his time. Peyton Hillis was awesome. I ran against him, right? But to me, when you look at Skattebo, to me, he's a 2 steps down from McCaffrey. Reason being is this. Hold on, let me. McCaffrey was a 1,000 guy. I don't know if he can do that, but he does give you ability in the passing game, both protecting and catching. He can be a short yardage running back. He can be a goal line running back. He can be your first and second down guy, right? And then this other thing. In the moment, I can give him the football, right? I can trust that if I give him the football, he has a chance to make something special happen. A lot of guys, you can't say that. And so to me, I didn't think Mike Allstott was more of a volume guy as he got going, the Bucks got going. Peyton Hillis was when it got cold, no one wanted to tackle him, right? He was this big bruiser. Skattebo has a different game to him, man. And like his game, it translates to the NFL. Like he ran inside zone, outside zone. He ran gap scheme. He caught screens. He played receiver and caught routes, go balls, slants. On the goal line, they'd give him a just simple inside zone out of 2 tights, and he took it to the crib. Like, he'll do whatever it takes to win. And to me, that's what makes him the third best guy because, again, it was just him at Arizona State, Steve. You know how many guys? I just found this stat out, too, by the way. You know how many guys went to the scouting combine? From Arizona State, From Arizona State.
Not a lot. Probably like 15.
Him?
You talking about
him, maybe?
I thought
he's the only one.
I thought you meant over, like.
Oh, overall? No. I'm just talking about this year. He's the only one that went. So that should tell you a lot that he took his team, right? A team that we follow well here in the Bay Area because they're on the West Coast.
Not just,
Yeah, he took a team that was kind of struggling along to the playoffs and made a big run. To me, that kid he's again a guy that I would want on my roster just because of all that he brings.
All right, before we move on real quick, I got one question because you mentioned everybody calling you, MJD, and people in the league hit you up. When they see this list come out, what's the conversation like when they hit you up and you got Cam Skattebo right there at 3? We'll get to it. We haven't even heard Hampton's name yet. Do you have to convince them in that conversation? How does that conversation end after you talk with them?
I literally say, they go, what do you think about? I go, he's a football player. Gosh, Maurice, that's right, man. That's what I see too. He's a football player, man.
But they don't have him at 3. They don't have him as the third.
They may not have him at 3, but a lot of people, again, like you're talking about. This is strictly football. This has zero to do with how tall you are, how much you weigh, how fast. This is literally just the tape. This has nothing to do with the combine. This has everything to do with just the tape. And so where I believe that you could plug him in any system in the league and he could play right away. He could go to the Washington Commanders and play in that no huddle, inside zone read system, all the way to the Chargers and have an impact on your team, right? Where the Chargers are downhill, 2 tight ends, beat you up. He could do all those things. And to me, that's what makes him special.
So MJD, is he a every down back or is he your like first and second?
He could be every down, Steve. That's the kicker to it. He can they can literally line him up at wide receiver and run every route in the route tree. He'll run it.
Boy, stop lying.
Hey, James, listen. Okay, Steve, I didn't believe it either, Steve. I didn't believe it either. I watched the college football like everyone else, like hanging out with my buddies and watching at a bar or whatever. And I saw him catch a go ball against Texas.
Who was covering them?
Their safety. Or corner or safety was covering them.
So hold on though. There is some routes in the route tree. Some wide receivers in this year's draft can't even run.
He not every route. He can run them, but he's not going to run them as crisp as some of the wide receivers. But
Okay,
this is
you
the thing
say
I'm
he can
saying.
run every
He's
route.
not getting he's not going to get covered by like whoever the top. Not Pat Surtain's not covering him. Like they're not going to waste that on him. But if you have a linebacker on him, he's going to kill that dude in the slot or out wide. Like he's going to put him in a bad area. He can run whips, slants, outs, comebacks. He can do all those things, right? And this dude, like, I'm just
I don't
telling
see
you,
him
like,
running.
dude,
I don't see him running a comeback though.
he got game, Steve.
No, he has game.
He got,
But
and it's
he also didn't run the combine. He didn't run for a reason, so I know he ain't running no comeback.
Listen, hey, a lot of guys didn't run. A lot of guys don't run. Lindell White,
You
didn't
know
run back in the
why?
day.
We know why they don't run.
Yeah, we know. But this is the thing though. What's harder to cover? A receiver that runs a 4.2 and he has to tell you when he stops, or a receiver that runs a 4.5 that runs every route at 4.5. Right? And so to me,
now
he
you
may be a
preaching.
4.8 guy. He may be a 4.7 guy. He may be a 4.6 guy. I don't know. But I just know if you put him out there, he gonna make plays.
Love it. All right, 4.
We good? Is that okay?
That's good.
Yeah, I'll just
you convinced me.
ask.
I was like I'm the GM that called you, and now I'm like, change the board.
But see, but this is the thing though.
Change
You
the
could get
board.
Skattebo in probably like the 3rd round.
You totally will.
You'll
Yeah,
get him in the
round
3rd.
pick.
You won't. He's not a 1st round guy, but you'll get him in.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, somebody in the comments section gonna be saying, that is bogus. Oh, MJD don't know what he talking about.
Listen, whoever team Skattebo goes to, I can't wait to watch him play in the league. It's gonna be insane.
There's
It's gonna
nothing
be
wrong
crazy.
with getting picked in the 3rd round.
I know there's nothing.
wrong
It's
with
nothing
that.
wrong with it at all. Here's the question: Is he going to draft in Green Bay?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good. Because I hate to see him have to bust out 2-3 suits.
No, we can't have that. We're gonna sit at home. We're gonna sit at home and chill up here in Northern California. All right, number 4, we got Quinshon Judkins, right? So that's the other kid at Ohio State. At first, people were like, why isn't he number 3? Why isn't he number 2? He's big, but he wasn't as explosive on the tape as these other guys were. He was more the hammer. He was the guy that when we're gonna give you a little bit of this, now we're gonna feel like we want to pound you and run through your defense. We're gonna use this guy. Yeah, pause. We're gonna run through this guy. To me, both of these guys, Henderson and Judkins, they did a great job both of breaking tackles. They did a great job of when they got in the open field, walking away from people. Obviously, he ran a faster 40 than I expected him to because he didn't look like a 4.4 guy on tape. But again, to me, just another physical presence that had great vision, broke a ton of tackles. It was more of he was a bruiser for them. And so, again, I tell people all the time, I want guys that have won, and we won because of them, not in spite of them. This is the reason Ohio State won the national title. I know the receiver got all the credit, but again, not as much about him as the other 3 guys. But I still believe if you put him in every system, he has that ability to be able to play. Now, I don't know how much on 3rd down he would play, but he'd be a 1st and 2nd down guy early on in his career, and he'd have to improve to be a 3rd down guy out of the backfield.
Do teams look at Judkins and Treveyon Henderson a little bit different, MJD, because they split time as an advantage? Like,
So it's funny.
wear and tear, things like that?
However you want to see it, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't like said player, you're going to say, well, he split time. He's not good enough, right? He didn't carry the ball enough. But if you like him, you're going to say, well, look, he doesn't have much of a tread on his tires, right? We don't like, so it's that those conversations are so funny and so fickle because you can tell if a guy likes a guy or not just off of that conversation. Yep.
Absolutely.
I've had multiple players or multiple coaches tell me they love him, but he split time, which means he really don't like him. Or they love him because they split time because now we can make him an every down guy here. And we believe he can do that. And again,
and it depends on the player.
Right, it depends on the player. The other reason I have him there, he has a innate ability to start and stop at his size. He can stop and start and get back up to full speed pretty quickly. Again, and as we get down the list, you're going to see some guys, that's going to be kind of their issue. But to have that ability to start and stop, when you're in the NFL, you got to be able to slam on the brakes and accelerate before a guy come and gets you in like 2 steps. He has that ability to do that.
So who does that remind you of, MJD? Like in the past, a guy that big can start and stop?
There wasn't really a guy per se. You know, we talked about this, Steve. I try not to compare as much as possible, right? Because people are going to say, well, Jeanty reminds everyone of you. That's why you have him number 1. No. Because he would go 60th overall if he was me. You feel what I'm saying? He going in the top 5, so he got to be better. He got to be much better than that. But no, I would say he has a similar. He doesn't run like Marshawn, but he has a similar ability to be that big and to start and stop and get going. Right. I think Marshawn had an ability to slam on the brakes and get back to full speed in 2 steps at like 225. Right. To me, that's what this kid has. Now, I'm not saying he's Marshawn Lynch.
No, I know what you said, but you just saying
to do those things, and that's important. Like that to me is the NFL.
Oh, that's spot. You know who I thought of? I mean, he's not as that big, but he's strong. Alvin Kamara. Like the stop-start. I remember talking to guys in New Orleans. They were like, he's like a Tesla. Like it goes from stop
I don't think he's
to
as
going full
smooth
speed.
though.
No, but like the stop and then 2 steps, you're at full speed again. That's a trait that I think is so valuable in today's league now with the way it's played.
Oh, yeah, it is. Listen, this is the thing. I was wrong about Alvin Kamara. My guys talk to me all the time about it. You didn't see that at Tennessee with him. You didn't even see that at Bama with him, right? And then the other thing is, he's a lot bigger than what people give him credit to be. Like
he runs hard.
He's 222. I think he's like 215, 220. That's it. I thought he was 200, right? Yeah. So he's a bigger guy as well. But you're right. That stop and start. If you can't do that, again, there's only one player in the league that has had success not doing that, and that's Derrick Henry. So unless you're 6'4", 250, the stop start is important. You got to be able to slam on your brakes and make a guy miss and then get back going to top speed. So there goes your top 4. Now, those are the guys that I believe are day one starters anywhere. You can plug them in and you can play them. I think Judkins gives you a little bit less than some of the other guys, but he still has the ability to play in that Commander system or that Charger system or whatever system you want to put him in, right? Those are the two kind of polar opposites.
The Chargers at a back. I would.
Yeah, Chargers, they got my dog Najee, but they love 2 and 3 backs, so we'll see.
Yeah. I think Najee's going to play well this year, by the way.
I think he will.
I hope so.
Number 5 is where it gets a little crazy.
Uh-oh.
This episode of 89 is brought to you by Row. Listen up, people. It's spring, right? Everything is in bloom, so let's talk a little birds and bees, because everybody's a little frisky in the spring. And Row Sparks, well, they have you covered. If you're looking for a little boost, a little more fun for you and your partner, well, Row has it taken care of. Now, I'm no doctor, but you put it under your tongue, it dissolves, it lasts for up to 36 hours, so you can go back to back to back to back if you'd like. Now, Row connects you with a medical provider 100% online, so there's no awkward face-to-face interaction. And, if you're approved, shipped directly to your door. So if prescribed, new sexual health patients will get $15 off Sparks on a reoccurring plan. So connect with the provider at row.co/89 to find out if a prescription for Row Sparks is for you. Be ready to play with Row Sparks.
Number 5 is where it gets a little crazy. Okay. So as I'm watching tape and I'm scrolling through guys and I have this list and I'm kind of watching, I see this kid out of Kansas State, DJ Giddens. DJ Giddens is like 6'1", 215, right? When I watched his tape, I thought he was like a 5'10", 200, 190 guy. And that tells you that he plays a lot smaller than what he is, which means, this dude it translates. The first thing I saw, James, we just talked about start and stop. Yeah. At that size, he made everyone miss. He made the first guy miss every time I watched him. It wasn't even like, as soon as he got in the open field, a guy would run, he had this one leg, he run to his right and stop once with his left leg, like a dead leg. The guy would fly by, slam the brakes, take off again, shaking guys, dropping his shoulder. I was like, who is this dude? Right? Yeah. So I called my buddy, one of my youngest son's godfather, he works for the Patriots. I call him, he's a scout. I go, hey bro, you watch this Giddens kid? He's like, nah, that's not my area, but I'll check him out. And I was like, what's the deal with him? He was like, bro, he played with a broken wrist or wrist injury or something all year. I said, what? Oh my goodness. This dude's out here playing hurt. He's fighting I said, oh man. So when you watch his tape, again, he could catch the ball out of the backfield. He's smooth. But the biggest thing is he makes the first guy miss all the time. Steve, in the NFL, what do you have to do?
Make the guy miss.
You got to make the guy that's trying to tackle you miss, right? If you're a wide receiver, you're one-on-one in the corner. We have to trust that you can make this guy miss. This dude is making a miss in the hole, on outside zone where you got to cut, be a one-cut runner. He's making guys miss, getting positive yards. He's running downhill. I mean, the guy was just slippery. And so to me, when you watched his tape, it was like, okay, this dude has what I'm looking for, right? He has the ability to take it the distance if need be. But again, if I'm looking to build a roster and I want a guy, and he's our first system back guy, so he needs to be in a certain system to have success. But he can make people miss, and that to me is the most important thing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Like, it may limit the teams you can go to, but it doesn't limit your success in the league.
Exactly, and that's what it is. Like, let's say if you plug in with the Niners, right? He's gonna give you 100-yard games. He's gonna do all these things. But on 4th and 1, when he needs to get the first down, he has that ability to do that. Let's say if you plug him in with, I don't know, the Giants. I don't know. I know they have Tyrone Tracy there, but he's a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run downhill. He can make people miss. And then again, when you watch people, and I want all our fans to do this, when you watch guys, try to guess how much they weigh, right? If you guess how much they weigh and you're way lighter than what they are, that's going to be a great player. If I can guess your weight, or if I'm too light, that's a bad player. So if you're, or if let's say if you weigh 180 and I say you weigh 210, that means you run heavy, right? You don't look like a big time guy. So
running with some Timberlands on. Exactly. That's what they look like.
That to me is kind of where I saw him, and I put him there. Next, we got probably the most explosive player in the draft. This is number 6. 6 is RJ Harvey out of UCF. You want to talk about a Ferrari?
He's liked a lot.
He's loved. People love this kid. And it's because, again, you see him change gears. Like, when he hits the gas, he is gone. But he'll go from first to second, back to first again, and then hit third and be taken and take off, right? Like, the only problem with him is I think he's a third down guy. He's more of a guy that you're going to put in third down situation or passing situation. And you allow him to kind of do his thing. I see him very close. He's closer to Bucky Irvin. He's a faster version of Bucky Irvin out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, it was good.
Which Bucky ran really well towards this season. He did a lot better than what I thought he was going to do. But again, he has to be in a system that can see what he does well and then really push him forward and really build around him. But to me, this dude here is just, you want to talk about speed, that's what he has. Right, and once he gets in the open field, I don't think there's a guy. You got to be running 4.2, a low 4.2 to go get him if you're going to try to go and get him.
What's his size? MJD?
He's a smaller guy. I can look up and tell you.
Dude, that was coming.
He's a smaller dude. That's why I said I try to be balanced with what I give guys. But I think he's like 5'8", 5'9", probably like 180, 190.
Giant.
Baller, huh? But we'll go to the last guy. The last guy is where all the comments and all the stuff is going to be. Everyone's going to be up in arms about this one. But I went with Omarion Hampton at 7. And this is my thing with Omarion Hampton, right? A big guy. I think when he's on the track, he's going to break tackles and do everything. He looks like Derrick Henry. Like, guys fall off him. He looks like a big dude. Explosive, he's fast, but when he has to stop, this is my only concern with him. When he has to stop, it's hard for him to get back going again. It is. It takes him forever to stop, and then it's hard for him to get back going. And it's, again, that's something that he can work on and improve on. I'm just going off the tape that I saw. He rushed for 1,600 this year, and everyone's been on me about him. Like, oh, how do you have this? And there's a couple other kids that they're going to talk about, but Hampton is a guy that he needs to be in a system that is a one-track system, right? So we have a lot of those guys that run the outside zone or a downhill duo, but if he can stay on that track, bro, he's going to be a monster. Okay. But as soon as he has to stop his feet and like change direction, that's what happens, right? And so to me,
so with that being said, what is a team as an example, if he's implemented into their system that he's not a one-track guy, that it will not work out for him?
Okay, so think of this. Remember how we talked about Derrick Henry? And I said, with Derrick Henry, if you don't stop him in the first 3 yards, you have a problem. That's the same thing with this kid. If he's not stopping the first 3 yards, or he doesn't have to like hesitate, shuffle his feet, he's going to be an issue. And so a team that I would say, I don't think he would fit well in a commander system. I don't think he would fit well because you have to jump cut back and you have to do. I think he would fit well in Denver. I think he would fit well in Los Angeles with the Chargers and the Rams. I think he would fit well in that outside zone scheme like Green Bay runs or the Niners run.
What about Pittsburgh?
See, I don't like Pittsburgh. If you watch Najee, those guys, they always had to stop their feet and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right. And to me, that's what scares me about that. I think if Pittsburgh says, "Hey, listen, we're going to go downhill and be Jerome Bettis," yeah, you if you're going to be Jerome Bettis, that works. But if you're going to want Le'Veon or Najee, it's not going to work.
But Le'Veon and Najee was in a different era. Now with Arthur Smith being there, and Arthur Smith
Najee was there last year.
I understand, and that's why Najee Smith was in the wrong offense with Arthur Smith, who he wants it to be downhill. But Najee was not a downhill runner. Najee is a start and guide. He is a traditional zone read.
Yes.
90%, even if it's not there, he cuts back. Versus Arthur Smith's offense when he used to be, that's why when he was in Tennessee, but also when he was in Atlanta, had that two-headed monster where those guys hit that track and go. And I think that's. So I think if he gets back to that, which again, you're gonna switch your offense up depending on the players you have. But if you get back to that, you hope.
Yeah, if you get back, you hope exactly. If you get back to that Tennessee or Pittsburgh when they had Jerome Bettis, when they were like, look, we're gonna early in Ben Roethlisberger's career, we're gonna beat you up. That's what he's gonna run well in that, right? He's gonna be tough to tackle. It's just again, if you watch Derrick Henry, this is for all our viewers and our listeners. If you watch Derrick Henry, watch the runs that don't go for 70 yards. Watch what happens when someone gets in his way. It takes him a long time to stop and start. Mm-hmm. And that's always been, and this happens when you're so tall and big, right? You can't slam on the brakes and get going. And so to me, that's why Hampton dropped down to 7. I still think he's going to go in the first round, but to me, it has to be to a specific team more than anything else.
Hey, MJD, man, you have stirred up some folks in the comment section, but also you have enlightened me very much on this running back draft board. We appreciate you coming on and blessing us with all of that knowledge. And if you dislike or like what MJD has said, man, drop your comments in the comment section.
Steve, do you like running backs now?
Not really.
Okay.
Fake enthusiasm.
That's part of your job application is to be able to block for the quarterback. As my dog is standing here trying to get on the camera.
I see.
But
look at that head.
This is the thing. Here, you want to see it? Here we go. Say hello, people. There he is, big fella.
He's a monster.
Yeah, he's a big fella. But
how your dog bigger than you, dog?
That's what you got to have around here, Steve. In the Bay Area, you got to have dogs, man.